To show you how barrier busting works, I'm going to work through a barrier that I hit recently. You may think it's silly, trivial, or profound. That's not the point. It's a real example to give you a flavour of how barrier busting works and suggest how you might use it yourself. Let me start with a bit of background to put you in the picture. I've avoided making phone calls for decades. I prefer working on my own to working with people. At my film club, I agreed to produce a film and found myself in a situation where I had to coordinate the production team and work with the people who had different mindset from me. I've avoided making phone calls for decades. I prefer working on my own to working with people. At my film club, I agreed to produce a film and found myself in a situation where I had to coordinate the production team and work with people who had a different mindset from me. I needed to make a set of phone calls to get my team together, resolve some issues, and get organised to shoot the film. That's basically simple. But I noticed the days were passing and I hadn't made the calls. I knew what to do, who to call, and so on. But I was allowing other legitimate things to interrupt and distract me. I was making excuses for not making the calls. Pressure was building up, which was distressing and counterproductive. I needed to do something about this for my own mental health. This apparently trivial situation has very deep roots. I got angry enough with myself to do something. I sat at my desk with a pad and pencil and focused on the problem. I felt some barrier to making the phone calls. I sensed some strong resistance in my head. I write the sentence: resistance to phone calls, resistance to work with people. Okay, so what's the problem? Quick, gut level answer, no thought, no agonizing. Problem: I'm not prepared for making the call. Problem: fear of what? Problem: I'm distracted. Problem: I'm not committed to the group. Problem: I'm not committed to my social career. Problem: some outdated, invalid habit deep in my subconscious is hijacking me. I pause a moment. No more problems spring to mind. Move on. I visit each problem and give some obvious actions that address that problem. I pause to look at what I've done. Preparation is a surface issue, easily dealt with, but not cutting to the chase. Fear. Those things look familiar. Distracted is practical, but more difficult because I have to work with other people. Doesn't cut to the chase. Commitment. Of course I'm committed, aren't I? These are difficult, wicked problems. Habit. True, but this is just a restatement of the barrier. There's no obvious way forward. I think again. Fear attracts my attention. One effective way of dealing with paralyzing fear is to focus on something else, preferably more positive, like, what's the vision I'm working towards? Now I see focus on my vision covers all the problems, except being distracted, which is a different sort of problem, an external problem. Move on. What's my vision? There are 3 visions to think about. My vision for the project, how will the film look? This is already quite well worked out in the treatment, the script and the storyboard, so I just need to review this. My vision for the team, how will the team work? Actually, how would I like the team to work? My vision for me, it will be enough for me if the team and the project work successfully. They will have more confidence and self-respect. I see the team vision as the key. I expand it a bit. Have shared vision with the film. Keep in touch with each other. Make helpful contributions to the discussions and activities. Discuss the topics and issues as equals. Be there at face-to-face activities. Work together cooperatively. Responds to emails in good time. Share ideas and insights. Make things fun. Know each other's names and contact details. Stop. I'm exhausted after half an hour of intense thought and feeling. So, let's review what I've done. So back off. Go up to the balcony. Look at where I've been and what I did. The barrier busting is for me, so I write words and phrases that are meaningful memory markers for me. The problems and responses don't have to be complete or ultimate solutions, just something that engages with it. It wasn't an instant silver bullet total solution, but that's not the point. The problems and responses don't have to be complete ultimate solutions, just something that engages with it. It wasn't an instant silver bullet total solution, but that's not the point. I arrived at some practical actions that I wanted to see. I'd made the problem more manageable by reducing it to specific actions. I was less overwhelmed, less fearful, and I was better able to cope. I busted the barrier just enough for me to start on the phone calls. I found that my dilatoriness had allowed the team to take things into their own hands, email each other, and work together. So I'd given them space to be themselves and to begin to gel as a team, thereby achieving my aims without my interfering or directing everything. There were no complaints, objections, comments, or prompts, so what I was feeling was not what the team were perceiving, and I was not attacked or criticised as I'd expected. So, growth point for me. I reinterpreted the situation, the team, and myself. Well, just a bit. Now, here's a technical review of what's going on in this example. My approach was to get angry with myself and the issue, face it, then fix it. I created physical and mental space and detached myself from my strong and complex feelings. Asking what's the problem is an example of using the 5 whys technique. Why am I resisting this action? I repeated it several times to get to the root of the problem. Psychologists know that quick, instant reactions without thought are a good way to reach authentic feelings and habits. Agonized feelings and convoluted thinking are more likely to muddy the waters and make things worse. Reverting to one's driving vision is a useful way to cope with fears and negative thinking, by diverting one's thoughts into constructive, positive directions. The vision breakdown follows Adair's task team individual leadership model. The search for and finding the appropriate vision could be thought of as a micro-vision quest. Inadvertently, I'd used silence as a way of giving my team space to be people and to get on with the job. Cut.